The phone slipped from my hand, crashing onto the kitchen floor as my sister's voice echoed through the speaker. "I'm doing everything for Mom, Claire. You don't need to worry." But the email I'd just opened, sent anonymously with a grainy video attachment, showed something that turned my blood to ice. "I'm Claire, 40 years old, a high school teacher with a husband, 2 kids, and a mortgage that keeps us tethered to routine. My younger sister, Emily, is 35, single, and always the free spirit. Charming, impulsive, and fiercely independent. When Mom's health declined after a stroke last year, leaving her frail and wheelchair-bound at 70, Emily volunteered to move into Mom's house and care for her full-time. 'I don't want a dime,' she'd said, her blue eyes sparkling with sincerity. 'She's our mom. It's what family does.' I believed her. We all did. Dad had passed 5 years ago, and with my family's demanding schedule, Emily's offer felt like a godsend. I visited Mom weekly, but Emily was the one there day in and day out. Or so I thought. The anonymous email arrived on a rainy Tuesday evening. The subject line was blank, the sender's address a jumble of letters and numbers. My husband, Tom, was helping our son with math homework, and the smell of spaghetti sauce simmered in the background. I clicked the video link, expecting spam, but what I saw made my stomach churn. The footage was shaky, clearly from a hidden camera in Mom's living room. It showed Mom, her silver hair unkempt, sitting alone in her wheelchair, her hands trembling as she reached for a glass of water on the table. She knocked it over, the water pooling on the floor. Emily was nowhere in sight. 4 agonizing minutes. The video showed Mom struggling, calling out weakly, her voice barely audible. Then Emily appeared, not to help, but to snap at Mom. "Stop making a mess, Mom. I'm busy." She stormed off, leaving Mom alone again. I replayed the video, my heart pounding. This wasn't the Emily I knew. The sister who'd once stayed up all night helping me study for finals, who'd cried with me at Dad's funeral. Had she changed, or had I been blind to who she really was? I called her immediately, my voice shaking. "Emily, what's going on with Mom? Are you okay?" She laughed, her tone light. "Claire, relax. Mom's fine. I'm handling everything." But her words felt hollow, and the video burned in my mind. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I made a decision. I needed answers. The next day, I drove to Mom's house, an hour away in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The familiar white picket fence and rose bushes greeted me, but the house felt different, colder, somehow. Emily opened the door, her blonde hair pulled back, her smile wide but strained. "Claire, you didn't say you were coming," she chirped, hugging me. Mom was in the living room, dozing in her wheelchair. Her clothes were wrinkled, and a faint smell of unwashed linens hung in the air. "She's just tired," Emily said quickly, noticing my frown. "She had a rough night." I nodded, but my eyes scanned the room, searching for clues. Where had that camera been hidden? Who had sent the video? Over coffee, Emily chatted about Mom's routine, medications, meals, physical therapy. Her words were polished, rehearsed. I wanted to confront her, to demand the truth, but something held me back. What if the video was a misunderstanding? What if Emily was struggling, and I was about to accuse her unfairly? Instead, I asked, "Are you sure you're okay doing this alone? I can help more, or we can hire someone." Emily's smile tightened. "I've got it, Claire. You've got your own life. Let me handle this." Her tone was final, almost defensive. That night, I couldn't shake the unease. I called Tom, who suggested installing a hidden camera of our own to monitor Mom's care. "It's not about distrusting Emily," he said gently. "It's about making sure Mom's safe." I agreed, though guilt gnawed at me. Spying on my sister felt like a betrayal, but ignoring the video felt like a bigger one. The next morning, I ordered a small wireless camera online, disguised as a clock. It would arrive in 2 days. Until then, I'd keep visiting, watching, waiting. The following week was a blur of worry and routine. I taught my classes, graded papers, and tucked my kids into bed, but my mind was with Mom. Each visit to her house revealed small, unsettling details. Dishes piled in the sink, Mom's medications scattered on the counter, her fingernails too long. Emily always had an excuse, a late night, a busy day, a delivery mix-up. I wanted to believe her, but doubt grew like a weed. When the camera arrived, I drove to Mom's house while Emily was at the grocery store. My hands shook as I set it up on the mantel, syncing it to my phone. I kissed Mom's forehead, promising silently to protect her, and left before Emily returned. That night, I watched the live feed. Mom was alone again, her wheelchair parked by the window. Emily was in the kitchen, scrolling on her phone, the sound of a TV blaring. When Mom called out, Emily didn't move. My heart sank. This wasn't a one-time lapse. It was a pattern. I texted Emily, asking how Mom was doing. Her reply came instantly. She's great. Just had dinner. The lies stung more than the neglect. I didn't confront her yet. I needed more evidence, something undeniable. But as I watched Mom sit alone, her frail hands folded in her lap, I felt a fire ignite inside me. Whatever Emily was hiding, I'd uncover it, and I'd make sure Mom was safe, no matter the cost. The camera became my lifeline to Mom, a silent witness to the truth I dreaded. Each night, I checked the feed, my stomach nodding as I watched Emily's neglect unfold. Mom would sit for hours, untouched, her meals cold on the table, her calls for help ignored. Emily wasn't cruel. She didn't yell or harm Mom. But her indifference was a blade, cutting deeper with every ignored plea. I saved every clip, building a case, though I wasn't sure for what. A confrontation? A report to social services? All I knew was that Mom deserved better. One evening, the feed showed Emily leaving the house at 8 p.m., dressed in a sleek black dress, her makeup flawless. She didn't return until midnight. Mom was left alone, no neighbor or friend checking in. I called Emily, my voice tight. Where were you tonight? She laughed, casual. Just grabbing drinks with friends. Mom was fine, Claire. I checked on her before I left. The lie was bolder now, and my patience thinner. I confided in Tom, who urged me to act. You can't keep watching this happen, he said. Talk to her, or we'll need to involve someone else. But who? Mom's only other family was our aunt in Florida, too far to help. Hiring a caregiver meant admitting Emily had failed, and that I'd failed Mom by trusting her. I started digging into Emily's life. Her social media was a curated illusion, photos of her at cafes, concerts, smiling with friends. No mention of Mom, no trace of the caregiver role she'd promised to embrace. I found a post from a week ago, Emily at a rooftop bar, captioned, "Living my best life." My blood boiled. Was this why she'd volunteered? To live rent-free in Mom's house while shirking her duties? I called her again, this time sharper. Emily, are you even there for Mom? Or is this just a free ride? Her voice turned cold. You're being dramatic, Claire. I'm doing my best. You try taking care of her 24/7. Her defensiveness only fueled my suspicion. The next day, I visited Mom unannounced. Emily was on the couch, scrolling her phone, while Mom sat in her wheelchair, staring out the window. The house smelled of stale coffee and neglect. Hey, Mom, I said, kneeling beside her. Her eyes lit up, but her voice was weak. Claire, you're here. I brushed her hair back, noticing how thin it had become. Emily stood, forcing a smile. Didn't expect you today? Want some tea? I shook my head, my eyes locked on Mom's frail frame. How's she really doing, Emily? I asked. Emily shrugged. She's okay. Just aging, you know. Her nonchalance was infuriating, but I held my tongue. I needed more from the camera before I could act. That night, the feed showed something worse. Mom's wheelchair was stuck in a doorway, her hands fumbling to free herself. She called for Emily, her voice hoarse. Emily appeared, exasperated, and yanked the wheelchair free, nearly tipping Mom out. God, Mom, can't you just stay put? She snapped, then walked away. I clutched my phone, tears streaming down my face. This wasn't just neglect, it was cruelty by omission. I called Tom, sobbing. We need to get Mom out of there. Now. He agreed, and we made a plan. I'd confront Emily tomorrow, show her the footage, and demand she leave. If she refused, I'd call Adult Protective Services. The next morning, I drove to Mom's house, my laptop loaded with the camera footage. My hands shook as I knocked. Emily opened the door, her expression wary. Claire, what's wrong? I pushed past her, setting my laptop on the dining table. Mom was in the living room, dozing. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. I opened the laptop and played the footage. Mom alone, Mom struggling, Emily, ignoring her. Emily's face paled, her eyes wide. Where did you get this? She whispered. Does it matter? I shot back. You promised to care for her. You lied. Emily's defenses crumbled. She sank into a chair, her hands covering her face. I didn't mean for it to get this bad, she said, her voice breaking. It's so hard, Claire. I thought I could handle it, but I can't. Her confession stunned me. The Emily I knew was confident, capable. But this Emily was overwhelmed, ashamed. I wanted to scream, to shake her, but I saw Mom in her wheelchair, watching us with tired eyes. We're fixing this, I said. But you're done here. Emily nodded, tears streaming down her face. For the first time, I saw my sister not as a villain, but as someone who'd failed under pressure and taken Mom down with her. Emily's tears didn't soften me. My anger was a wildfire, fueled by every moment I'd seen Mom neglected on that camera feed. But as I looked at my sister, crumpled and sobbing, I felt a flicker of pity. She wasn't evil. She was human, flawed, and drowning in a role she'd underestimated. Still, pity couldn't erase the betrayal. Pack your things, I told her, my voice cold. You're leaving today. Emily nodded, her hands trembling as she stood. Mom stirred in her wheelchair, her eyes flickering between us, confused but silent. I called Tom, who agreed to help move Mom to our house temporarily. Our home was small, but we'd make it work. I couldn't leave Mom here, not after what I'd seen. As Emily gathered her belongings, I sat with Mom, holding her hand. I'm so sorry, Mom, I whispered. I should have checked on you more. Her fingers squeezed mine weakly, her smile faint but warm. You're here now, she said. Those words broke me. I'd trusted Emily, and that trust had cost Mom her dignity. By noon, Emily was gone. She left without a word, her suitcase dragging behind her. The house felt emptier, but also lighter, as if a shadow had lifted. I packed Mom's essentials, her medications, clothes, a few photos of Dad, and drove her to our house. My kids, Lily and Max, were thrilled to have Grandma stay, though their questions about Emily stung. Why isn't Aunt Emily taking care of her anymore? Lily asked. I forced a smile. Grandma needs a change of scenery, I said, dodging the truth. They didn't need to know yet. Settling Mom in was harder than I'd expected. Our guest room was cramped, and the house wasn't wheelchair-friendly. Tom promised to build a ramp. But for now, we carried Mom up the stairs, her frailty a constant reminder of how much she'd declined. That night, I checked her medications, shocked to find half the bottles nearly empty or expired. Emily hadn't been refilling them properly. I called Mom's doctor, who scheduled an urgent appointment. She's underweight, the nurse said over the phone. Bring her in tomorrow. My guilt deepened. How'd I miss this? The camera footage haunted me. I couldn't stop watching it, replaying Emily's neglect, searching for signs I'd overlooked. Who had sent the original video? A neighbor? A friend? I emailed the anonymous sender, asking for their identity, but got no reply. The mystery gnawed at me, but Mom's safety was my priority now. At the doctor's office, the news was grim. Mom was malnourished, dehydrated, and showing signs of depression. She needs consistent care, the doctor said. This kind of neglect can accelerate decline in someone her age. I nodded, fighting tears. Neglect. The word was a knife in my chest. Back home, I hired a part-time caregiver, Sarah, a kind woman with years of experience. She helped Mom with baths, meals, and physical therapy, easing the burden on me. But the cost was steep, stretching our budget thin. I didn't care. Mom deserved better than what Emily had given her. Still, I couldn't shake the question, why had Emily lied? I texted her, asking to meet. She replied hours later. I'm sorry, Claire. I need time. Her avoidance only deepened my anger. Time for what? To escape accountability? A week later, I found a clue. While sorting Mom's mail, I discovered bank statements showing withdrawals from Mom's savings, thousands of dollars, siphoned out over months. My heart raced. Emily had access to Mom's account for emergencies. Had she been stealing? I called the bank, confirming the transactions were made online with Emily's login. The betrayal cut deeper now. Not only had she neglected Mom, but she'd used her vulnerability to fund her best life. I wanted to confront her, but first, I needed proof. I kept the camera running in Mom's old house, hoping Emily might return. One night, the feed caught movement. Emily slipped into the house, unaware of the camera. She rummaged through Mom's desk, pulling out papers. My pulse quickened as I recorded the footage. She was looking for something, maybe more access to Mom's accounts. I called Tom, who urged me to go to the police. "This isn't just neglect anymore," he said. "It's theft, maybe worse." I hesitated. Emily was my sister. Could I turn her in? But Mom's frail face flashed in my mind, and I knew I had no choice. The next morning, I drove to the police station, the footage and bank statements in hand. As I handed them over, my hands shook, but my resolve didn't. Emily had broken our family. Now, I'd make sure she faced the consequences. The police station smelled of coffee and stale air, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. I handed over the camera footage and bank statements, my voice steady as I explained Emily's neglect and the suspicious withdrawals. The officer, a kind man with tired eyes, promised to investigate. "This could be elder abuse," he said, his words landing like a punch. Elder abuse. My sister, the person I'd once trusted most, was now a suspect in a crime against our mother. I drove home in a daze, the weight of my decision pressing down on me. Mom was adjusting to our home, her smile brighter with Sarah's care. Lily and Max doted on her, reading her stories and showing her their drawings. But I saw the toll her ordeal had taken. Her eyes carried a quiet sadness, as if she knew more than she let on. "Did Emily ever seem unhappy taking care of you?" I asked one evening, brushing her hair. Mom sighed, her voice soft. "She tried, Claire, but it was too much for her. Her forgiveness stunned me. How could she defend Emily after everything?" Yet Mom's words forced me to see my sister not just as a betrayer, but as someone who'd crumbled under pressure. The police called 2 days later. They'd tracked Emily to a friend's apartment in the city. The bank withdrawals, over $10,000, were tied to her account, used for clothes, trips, and dining out. My stomach churned. Emily had stolen from Mom to fund her carefree lifestyle, all while neglecting her. The officer mentioned a possible charge of financial elder abuse, pending further evidence. They'd also reviewed the camera footage, confirming Mom's neglect. "We'll need to interview your mother," he said. I hesitated. Mom was fragile. Could she handle reliving this? But I agreed, knowing it was necessary to protect her. I met Emily the next day at a coffee shop, her choice of neutral ground. She looked haggard, her blonde hair limp, her eyes red. "Claire, I'm so sorry," she started, but I cut her off. "Sorry doesn't fix this, Emily. You stole from Mom. You left her alone." I showed her a still from the camera, Mom struggling in her wheelchair. Emily flinched, tears spilling. "I didn't mean to hurt her," she said. "I was overwhelmed. I used the money to escape, I guess. I'm not a monster." Her words stirred a mix of anger and pity. I wanted to hate her, but she was still my sister, the girl who'd once shared my secrets. "Why didn't you ask for help?" I demanded. Emily looked away. I was ashamed. I thought I could handle it. Then it spiraled. Her honesty disarmed me, but it didn't erase the damage. "The police are involved now," I said. Her face paled. "Claire, please. I'll pay it back. Don't let them." I shook my head. "This isn't about you anymore. It's about Mom." I left her there, crying, my heart torn between justice and family. Back home, I prepared Mom for the police interview. She was nervous, but agreed to speak. "I don't want Emily in trouble," she said, her hands trembling. "She's my daughter too." Her love for Emily, despite everything, broke my heart. The interview was gentle, the officer patient as Mom recounted her days with Emily. Long hours alone, missed meals, ignored pleas. I held her hand, fighting tears. Afterward, the officer confirmed they'd pursue charges. "Your sister could face jail time," he said. The words felt surreal. Jail. For Emily. I kept the camera running in Mom's old house, just in case. One night, it caught Emily again, sneaking in, this time with a man I didn't recognize. They searched Mom's desk, pulling out more papers. My heart raced. Was she trying to cover her tracks? I sent the footage to the police, who identified the man as Emily's boyfriend, a known petty thief. The case was growing, and with it, my fear. What else had Emily done? Had I ever really known her? As the investigation deepened, I focused on Mom's recovery. Sarah's care was a blessing. Mom gained weight, her strength returning. But the emotional scars lingered. One night, Mom woke from a nightmare, calling for Emily. I held her, promising she was safe. "I failed you both," she whispered. "No, Mom," I said fiercely. "Emily failed you. I failed you by trusting her. But we're fixing it now." Her tears soaked my shoulder, and I vowed to rebuild what Emily had broken, no matter how long it took. The police investigation moved faster than I expected, a machine grinding toward justice. Emily was arrested a week later, charged with financial elder abuse and neglect. The news hit like a tidal wave, flooding our family with shame and grief. I hadn't spoken to her since the coffee shop, but her mugshot, shared by a local news outlet, haunted me. Her eyes hollow, her face a mask of defeat. My sister, the vibrant girl who'd once danced through life, was now a criminal. I wanted to feel vindicated, but all I felt was loss. Mom took it hardest. She stopped eating for days, her guilt over Emily's fate outweighing her own suffering. "I should have seen she was struggling," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I tried to comfort her, but my own guilt mirrored hers. I'd been so focused on teaching, raising my kids, and paying bills that I'd missed Emily's unraveling. Had I pushed her too hard to take on Mom's care? I confided in Tom, who held me as I cried. "You did what you thought was best," he said. "Emily made her choices." His words were true, but they didn't ease the ache. The anonymous sender finally revealed themselves. A neighbor, Mrs. Larson, who'd noticed Emily's frequent absences and Mom's declining state. She'd installed the first camera, unable to stand by any longer. I thanked her, tears in my eyes. Her courage had saved Mom, but it also forced me to face my own failure. I should have been the one to notice. Mrs. Larson's kindness reminded me of the community Mom had built, people who loved her enough to act when I hadn't. I hired a lawyer to protect Mom's remaining savings and ensure Emily couldn't access them again. The lawyer suggested a trust, which we set up quickly. It felt like locking the door after the house had been robbed, but it gave me peace of mind. Meanwhile, Mom's health improved under Sarah's care. She laughed more, her eyes regaining their spark. Lily and Max taught her to play simple card games, their giggles filling the house. But every joy was tinged with sorrow. Emily's absence was a ghost that lingered. The court date loomed, a storm on the horizon. I dreaded testifying, knowing my words could send Emily to jail. The night before, I found a letter tucked in Mom's old photo album, written in Emily's looping handwriting. It was dated a year ago, just after she'd moved in with Mom. "Dear Claire," it began. "I'm scared I'll mess this up, but I want to make you and Mom proud. I'll do my best." My throat tightened. She'd started with good intentions, but somewhere along the way, she'd lost herself. I tucked the letter away, unsure if it changed anything. At the courthouse, Emily looked small, her hands cuffed. She pleaded guilty to the financial charges, her voice breaking as she apologized to Mom, to me, to the court. The judge was stern but fair, sentencing her to 2 years probation, community service, and restitution. No jail time, a mercy I hadn't expected. Mom squeezed my hand, relief flooding her face. I felt torn. Justice had been served, but at what cost? Emily was ordered to stay away from Mom, a restraining order I'd requested to protect her. As Emily left the courtroom, our eyes met. Hers were filled with regret, but I looked away. I wasn't ready to forgive. Back home, I focused on rebuilding Mom's life. We sold her house, the memories too painful to keep. The money went into her trust, ensuring her care for years to come. We found a wheelchair-accessible apartment nearby, where Sarah could continue as her caregiver. Mom loved the new place, its sunny windows and small garden. She started painting again, a hobby she'd abandoned after the stroke. Her watercolors, shaky but vibrant, adorned our walls, a symbol of her resilience. But Emily's shadow lingered. I heard through a friend that she'd moved to another city, working odd jobs to pay restitution. Part of me wanted to reach out, to understand why she'd fallen so far. But another part, the part that saw Mom's frail hands, her lonely hours, kept me silent. Family was supposed to be unbreakable, but Emily had shattered that illusion. As I tucked Mom into bed one night, her smile soft and grateful, I realized the truth. Family wasn't just blood. It was the people who showed up, who cared, who fought for you. Mom had that now, in me, in Tom, in Sarah, in my kids. And maybe, one day, Emily could earn her way back. But that day wasn't today. Months passed, and Mom's new life took root. The apartment became her sanctuary, filled with her paintings and the laughter of my kids visiting after school. Sarah's care was a steady anchor, and Mom's health stabilized. Her weight was up, her depression fading. But the scars of Emily's neglect lingered in quiet moments, when Mom's eyes would drift to the photo of her and Emily as kids, smiling in a sunlit park. I didn't know how to heal that wound, or if I ever could. I threw myself into work and family, trying to bury the pain of Emily's betrayal. Teaching kept me grounded, my students' eager faces a reminder of purpose. But at night, when the house was quiet, I'd check my phone, half expecting a message from Emily. None came. She was honoring the restraining order, or maybe she was too ashamed to reach out. Either way, her silence was both a relief and an ache. I missed the sister I'd once known, but I couldn't trust her, not yet. One evening, Mrs. Larson called. "Claire, I saw Emily at the grocery store," she said. "She asked about your mom." She looked broken. My heart twisted. I thanked Mrs. Larson and hung up, unsure what to feel. Was Emily remorseful, or was this another act? I confided in Tom, who suggested giving her a chance to explain, not for her sake, but for mine. "You're carrying this anger," he said. "It's eating you up." He was right. The fury I felt for Emily was a weight, tethering me to the past. I needed closure, for Mom and for myself. I tracked Emily down through a mutual friend. She was living in a small apartment 2 hours away, working as a barista. I sent her a letter, not an email, not a text, but a handwritten note, like the one she'd left me. "Emily," I wrote, "I'm not ready to forgive you, but I'm ready to listen. Meet me if you're willing to be honest." I included a time and place, a quiet park near her city. I didn't expect a reply, but 2 days later, she texted, "I'll be there." The park was alive with spring, children playing, birds chirping, the air warm with possibility. Emily arrived on time, her face thinner, her eyes wary. We sat on a bench, the space between us heavy with unspoken words. "I'm sorry, Claire," she began, her voice raw. "I failed, Mom. I failed you. I was in over my head, and I took the easy way out, spending her money, pretending I was okay. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want you to know I'm trying to make it right." She pulled out a check, her first restitution payment, made out to Mom's trust. It was small, but it was a start. I listened, my anger softening but not gone. "Why didn't you tell me you were struggling?" I asked. Emily looked down, tears falling. "Pride. Shame. I wanted to be the hero, the one who saved the day. But I wasn't built for it." Her honesty cut through me. I saw the Emily I'd loved. The dreamer, the girl who'd always aimed high but sometimes fell short. "Mom misses you," I said finally. "But you hurt her, Emily. You hurt us all." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I know. I'll spend my life making it up to her." We didn't hug. We didn't reconcile. But we talked, and it was a step. I told her about Mom's new life, her paintings, her laughter. Emily listened, a sad smile on her face. "Tell her I love her," she said as we parted. I promised I would. Driving home, I felt lighter, not because I'd forgiven her, but because I'd faced her. The truth, raw and painful, was better than the silence. When I told Mom about the meeting, her eyes lit up. "She's still my girl," she said softly. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. Mom's love for Emily was unbreakable, even now. I vowed to keep the door open, to let Emily prove herself, but only if she earned it. For now, my focus was Mom, her safety, her happiness, her dignity. As I tucked her in that night, her hand warm in mine, I felt a quiet strength. We'd survive the storm. We'd rebuild, one day at a time. A year later, our lives had settled into a new rhythm. Mom's apartment was a haven, its walls covered with her watercolors, bright landscapes that spoke of her resilience. Lily and Max spent weekends with her, their laughter a balm for the wounds Emily had left. Sarah remained Mom's caregiver, her gentle presence a constant reminder that we'd made the right choice. But Emily's absence was a quiet ache, a reminder of what we'd lost, and what we might still reclaim. I hadn't seen Emily since the park, but she sent monthly restitution checks, each one a small step toward amends. She wrote letters to Mom, short and careful, never expecting a reply. Mom read them in silence, her fingers tracing Emily's handwriting. "She's trying," Mom said one day, her voice soft but hopeful. I nodded, unsure if I was ready to let Emily back into our lives. Trust, once broken, was hard to rebuild. But Mom's hope gave me pause. Maybe, in time, we could find a way forward. One spring afternoon, Mom asked to visit Dad's grave. It was a ritual we hadn't done since her stroke, and I knew it was important. We drove to the cemetery, Mom's wheelchair bumping along the path. She placed a rose on Dad's headstone, her eyes misty. "He'd be proud of you, Claire," she said. "You fought for me." Her words hit me hard. I'd fought for her, yes, but I'd also learned from her. Her forgiveness, her strength, her unshakable love for both her daughters, even when one had failed her. That evening, I found an email from Emily. No subject, just a short message. "I'm in therapy now, working on myself. I'd like to see Mom, if you'll allow it." No pressure. My first instinct was to say no, to protect Mom from more pain. But I thought of her hope, her belief in second chances. I discussed it with Tom, who reminded me that redemption was possible, even for Emily. "Set boundaries," he said, "but don't close the door." I agreed, replying to Emily with strict conditions, a supervised visit, no promises, no expectations. The visit happened a week later, in Mom's apartment. Emily arrived, nervous but composed, her hands clutching a small bouquet of daisies, Mom's favorite. Mom's face lit up, tears spilling as she hugged Emily. I stood back, watching, my heart a tangle of caution and hope. They talked for hours, Emily listening as Mom shared stories of her paintings, her new life. Emily didn't make excuses or promises. She just listened, her eyes soft with regret. When she left, Mom squeezed my hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "I didn't ask for what." Life moved on. Emily kept paying restitution, kept writing to Mom. She didn't push for more visits, respecting our boundaries. I started to see glimmers of the sister I'd loved, the one who'd once been my confidant, my partner in crime. But I wasn't naive. Healing would take time, maybe years. For now, I focused on Mom, on my kids, on the family we'd rebuilt from the ashes of betrayal. The hidden camera, still tucked in Mom's old house, sat unused, a relic of the truth it had exposed. I thought about destroying it, but instead, I kept it, a reminder of the cost of blind trust and the power of facing the truth. Mom's laughter, her paintings, her strength were my anchors now. And as I watched her thrive, I realized something profound. Family wasn't just about who you were born to. It was about who you fought for, who you protected, who you loved through the pain. We'd lost Emily for a time, but we'd found something stronger: resilience, forgiveness, and the courage to rebuild. One day, maybe, Emily would be part of that again. Until then, we had each other, and that was enough.